The U.S. government and the country's entertainment industry have come under attack from a group of computer hackers known as Anonymous. They took down websites belonging to the FBI, Department of Justice, Universal Music, and several other sites. The group says its largest ever attack is in response to the shutdown of a major file-sharing platform, Mega Upload, which has affected some 50 million daily users. The website's bosses have been arrested, now facing prison terms for copyright infringement. U.S. lawmakers are currently debating new bills to curb illegal downloading, which have been attacked as an attempt to censor the internet. Thousands of sites, including Wikipedia, went dark in protest this week. For more now, we're joined by Trevor Timm from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Thanks for joining us. So the U.S. Congress has so far backed down after some of the major protests online. Do you think this is a victory for internet users?
Yeah, this was the biggest protest in internet history. And we saw over 115,000 sites somehow alter their web pages, or somewhat alter their web pages. A lot of them blacked out completely, meaning that users couldn't even get to them, including Wikipedia, which is the 6th largest site in the U.S. This sent a huge message to Congress. You know, most of the American public hadn't even heard about these bills before the blackout day. And once these sites blacked out, everybody started calling their congressmen and emailing them. We at EFF sent out over a million emails just in that one day. Google got 7 million signatures on their petition. And so by the end of the day, we had a huge swing in Congress where at the beginning of the day, 60 congressmen supported this bill and 30 were against. And by the end of the day, we had 100 against. And so within the next 24 hours, we heard that Congress in both houses were going to shelve these bills indefinitely. So it was a major victory for internet online activism and internet freedom.
So now these two bills, abbreviated as SOPA and PIPA, were they really designed to censor the internet? I mean, were users really right to feel that they were under attack because of this, or was it less cut and dry than that?
Well, the overall goal of these bills was to stop online piracy, but unfortunately the provisions were written so broadly that they would probably end up censoring millions of innocent users who had never even thought about copyright infringement. And the worst part was it wasn't even going to stop online piracy. You know, the bills didn't go directly after the owners of these sites. They kind of went around everything around it. So it was going to be censored domain names, or they were going to be delisted from search engines on the orders of the government, or corporations were going to be allowed to cut off payment processors and advertisers from these sites, just basically on an allegation in an unopposed court order. And then, again, there was going to be broad immunity for internet service providers to enforce these bills, so they could end up over-blocking sites and capturing innocent users, and even blocking sites voluntarily, just on the unofficial orders of corporations. So there was a lot of free speech problems with these bills, and the net was cast so wide that free speech would have been infringed on a massive scale. So you know, the overall goal of stopping online piracy, you know, it's something everybody agrees with, but the way they went about it was just completely expansive and, quite frankly, ridiculous.
Do you think this is the start or the symptom of a bigger push by the government to take a role in controlling the internet?
Well, there's definitely a lot of bills in Congress right now that would not necessarily censor the internet, but kind of infringe on users' rights. There's a data retention bill which would force internet service providers to keep data on all of their users for 18 months, essentially an innocent until proven, or a guilty until proven innocent bill, where they would, you know, have data on all these people when they've in fact done nothing wrong. There's also a bill to allow wiretapping on the internet to make it easier. And email on the internet is not protected as much as letters and phone calls are in the U.S. So Congress has really done a poor job of keeping and protecting people's rights online. So this was a major victory. You know, this was really going to affect people's free speech, and the internet fought back, and so far, at least temporarily, it seems like we've won.
Now, the site in question here, Mega Upload, how much damage did it actually do? I mean, the government is claiming millions in lost revenues because of all this. Is that actually the case?
I think that remains to be seen. I think the real there's two issues that this shows. First of all, the U.S. government was actually holding up Mega Upload as the reason they wanted SOPA and PIPA to pass. There were a prime example, along with Pirate Bay, that a few congressmen even cited, saying, you know, we can't go after these sites without these bills. And, a day after the internet blackout, they actually did go after these sites. The idea that the U.S. doesn't have any laws to protect online infringement is not true. The Congress has strengthened copyright laws many times in the last decade, and this is just a great example of that. The problem with Mega Upload is that there was a lot of innocent people, again, that had a lot of files on their website that had nothing to do with copyright infringement, and they might have lost those permanently. So it's just another example of how copyright laws can end up infringing on people's right to free speech.
All right, we have to leave it there. Trevor Timm from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, thanks for your perspective.
Thanks a lot.